So they've let us loose again, TC, out the studio.
Looking forward to this.
National hunt season's coming.
Yep.
And we're out and about at Christian Williams' yard, picturesque Christian Williams' yard, to really get the juices going, get you engaged off flat mode into jumps mode, talk about the season ahead.
Do we get to see you on a horse today?
There's a rumour they might do.
Okay.
Unless it's going to be you. I guess we'll pick Christian's brain about some of his horses. You know, big season for him to kick forward. Perhaps some of the older horses starting to sort of slow down, but some nice young horses. Deep Cave won a big handicap at Aintree at the back end of the season. And let's try and pick his brain about something that we might not have heard about. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm looking forward to this.
Tell me you're an event rider without telling me you're an event rider. Which one? This one. Thank you. I've gone down 8. I reckon I'll go down another couple when I get on. I'm going to be like Andrew Thornton. Wake up, fucking big boy. Oh, good boy. Hey, lovely else. I just wasn't convinced Christian would give me a nice one now. He could have just given me a bit of a run one for a laugh. You want to ride short enough not to get wet feet. Good boy, go on. Not sure if you can see these reins. Yellow, red, blue, light blue. They're not for a decoration, they're for training. So when you're training someone, you can tell them, hold the yellow part, hold the red part, hold the blue part, etc. Ooh, boy. Lad, that. What a place to work.
How long have you known Ross for?
Oh, only through Twitter, really.
Through Twitter?
Yeah, I
really?
think so. He came down once or twice then, and he found me a couple of horses then last year. Yeah, obviously great people and knowledge, like him outside. I know you know him through racing, but
yeah,
I see him then as a little bit of an angle on, you know, looking at horses and me differently. And nice for him to ride out now and get a bit of feedback from him. And you know, it's in racing. There's things outside can add to, you know, the physicality with the horse now to what different exercises to do, so he can bring that then from his event inside of it and flat work. And it'd be great then when we get a new place, because we probably end up putting in then a big outdoor arena, and
sure,
hopefully Ross can come down more then. And
what's the benefit of giving a horse time to play in the sea?
Good for them mentally, I suppose, and you know, I suppose the salt water and the cold water, there's obviously science put into it with human beings and everything, how much it helps. So
good morning, how are you?
Hey, nice to see you. How are you, all right?
Yeah, he was lovely. Just lobs, didn't he, and then just... Do you want to swap?
How did you find that?
Yeah, good. He's lovely, he just lobs along.
You know, you're on Deep Cave as well.
Yeah.
The horse you
Christian
love.
said he'll feel like he's cut loose when Ella gets back on tomorrow, won't he? If you're half the weight. Ooh. Thank you very much. Thank you for looking after me, mate.
Enjoy it?
I did love that. Genuinely love it. Cave. So he won Aintree.
You've got a bit of a soft spot for this horse as well.
Yeah, I have. He's actually on my list of horses here because I think he fell in a chase in Ortoy, Christian said, but he's a good jumper.
Yeah.
But they found that he stayed better at Aintree. They wondered whether he'd stay 3 miles, and at Aintree, if you remember, it was a really good race, and it was 4 going to the line, wasn't there? And he just got out. But Ella said he'd come in this year, and he's already more relaxed. And he started jig jogging on the way back, and I was like, yeah. Ella's going to get cross in a minute, like she's undone all her hard work. I was thinking about the staying, because they asked Christian, you think Christian Williams, you think staying Chasers?
Yeah.
And I had in my head that it was because of the soft sand and putting stamina in. But actually, I think the other thing I hadn't considered is how relaxed they all are.
Yeah, so relaxed.
It's so relaxed. If you think about, we talk about horses stepping up in trip, whether they're going to relax enough. every single one of these.
Well, we were watching it from up on the road. Literally no horse was keen.
Yeah.
And
and you picked that out when we went down and watched the last lot. Jack was sort of almost in his stirrups like he was pulling up at the end of a race with a big loopy rein, and they just travelled. So I suppose racing efficiency.
I'm quite disappointed you didn't do that, by the way.
No, my balance wouldn't be. I was just keeping myself safe. But racing efficiency is everything, isn't it? And they're relaxed and they've worked hard.
Yep.
Of course, it's raining.
Nice.
As we say in Wales, we like the summer because the rain gets warmer, and we're now in autumn, so it's keeping raining. You're probably still clinging on to American racing and Breeders' Cup. I am fully now in winter game, and we've got the winter weather. How am I going to convince you to really engage? Because for me, the thing that jumps head over the flat is the returning heroes. And I think this season, more than ever, can Constitution Hill come back and win the champion hurdle.
What do you make of him? Do you think he's going to come back this year?
It slightly broke my heart last year, TC. I have to be honest, to see him on the floor twice and then look sort of such a lesser light at Punchestown.
Yeah.
I'm split. My heart really, really wants to see him come back because I think he is the best champion hurdler I've ever seen. The jumping is becoming a problem, isn't it? But I think they've maybe cleared the decks and Nicky Henson's going to take control. I think maybe, unusually, some outside noise got in about what you should be doing with him. I thought the loose schooling was odd because I think certainly before at Aintree he seemed to act instinctively, change his mind and then make a mistake. So hopefully just getting back and getting a bit of luck maybe will help him. But I think it is a big task. He's going to be a 9-year-old. 9-year-olds have won the champion hurdle. I think Hurricane Fly was a 10-year-old. So I hope so. But I think probably if I certainly wouldn't bet on him. I will happily, whatever I back, if Constitution Hill wins, I wouldn't be crying. But I think it's probably a big ask. What do you make of, I suppose, the new line, is the new kid on the block?
Yeah, he looked great last year, didn't he?
Line of the yellow clay go on to final demand into the closing stages. The yellow clay, the red cap Jack Kennedy, the white cap is the new line Harry Skelton, who's getting up. The new line has won the Turners to the yellow clay.
He looked like the new novice who could definitely take that step forward, but the bar is set quite high by these current horses in the champion hurdle sphere. Not only Constitution Hill, but we're talking State Man, another veteran, we're talking Lossiemouth potentially facing the boys. The new line will need to take a step forward, but Dan Skelton is very good with this type, so yeah, I quite like him this year.
Yeah, I think we both backed, didn't we, for the race he won at Cheltenham last year over 2 mile 4. The more I think about it, I just wonder. The yellow clay, I think he's a 3-miler.
Agreed.
Final demand, definitely a 3-miler, and I'm not sure he came down the hill all that well at Cheltenham on pretty lively ground. I would put it, where do you think the new line would have finished in the Supreme? Would he have made the first? I don't think he'd been cop at the boards. I'm not sure he'd have been maybe third.
Yeah, I'd say third, because the horse in second is pretty talented in his own right?
Yeah, and we disagree. Well, I disagree. You were hoping he'd go chasing. I was hoping he'd go champion
Gotta
hurdle.
go Arkle route. What's going on?
I think, hopefully, they're going to go Morgiana if that goes well. I think he's the lively one for the champion hurdle, because I think he's going to get better as he gets more experienced and learns to relax a bit and race more efficiently. So those are mine. Then you've got the mares, Lossiemouth, Woodoo. I struggle to see Woodoo being a champion hurdle horse. I think maybe the mares on the new course this year on the Wednesday would suit her. Lossiemouth, surely, with State Man a year older, they've got to try it, haven't they?
They've got to go. Woodoo, in her own right, deserves a step up because she was so prolific last season. But Lossiemouth has already proven she is as good as the boys on what we've seen, so she deserves her spot in the champion hurdle. 2 Millar Chasers then. This is the questionable division, I would say, right now, with John Bon kind of unproven, and when it comes to Cheltenham he's not the prolific horse that he is elsewhere, and he may go up in distance. What do you make of him?
I love him, and I'm probably paddling a sole canoe that I don't buy this Cheltenham Festival. I think he's had legitimate reasons. I wouldn't be against him at the Cheltenham Festival next year, apart from one reason. I don't think I have Nico in the saddle.
Yes.
Because there's the young pretender coming through, Sergino, and I think Nico's really, really important to John Bon, and the more I watch, the more convinced I am by that. James Bowen, a fine rider, made a mistake in the Schlur. Mark Walsh had a go in the Celebration Chase. I don't think he got the best tune out of him, but I find it very hard to believe that if Sergino comes back, and I think there's no reason why he won't, it was an infection that caused lameness, not an injury. I find it very hard to believe that come March, Nico's not going to be on the younger horse who looked really exciting. Marine National, are we giving him enough credit? Where do you stand with him? I'm not fully sold on him.
Yeah, I loved him last year at Cheltenham. He was one of my very few winners actually at that meeting. I like him as a horse, but I do think he has to prove himself. He's a bit in and out, isn't he? Which is his downfall. John Bon is very consistent, so it's hard to weigh the two up against each other. I agree with you, Ari John Bon, but I also disagree, Ari Cheltenham. I put something on social media. It was actually an article about some of the stars in jumps racing, and it feels like most people are in your camp. He has to go to Cheltenham. He's had plenty of excuses in the past. I think he just doesn't like it there. I don't think he jumps well enough. So if he's vulnerable, and maybe there's a horse or two that can come onto the scene, younger horse, do you think that's Sagino, or could some horse like Majborough take a leading role?
Well, the Arcor's strange, isn't it? Because Django Bay won the Arcor. He's never going to run at 2 miles again. Apparently, going to step up in trip. Could be a King George horse. Majborough, I just think the old course at Cheltenham, it happened too quick for him. So Sagino I love. He's everything I ever wanted in a horse when I was eventing. He's bigger than he looks. He looks like a neat horse. He's actually nearly 17 hands. He's really athletic and like a cat in front of his fences. Majborough is big and looks big, and I think sometimes it's a long way from his brain to his feet, and I think it just happened a bit too quick from on the old course. It's going to be the same in the Champion Chase. I think he wants to step up in trip.
Interesting.
The problem with that is in the same colours.
Yeah.
Factor file. He's, looks deadly at the Ryanair trip. Maybe he steps up. So youngest coming through, definitely Sagino, I think, is the one that's most exciting. Marine National, my problem with him is he looked really good, but Calixios was going to get beaten, but he was pretty close when he came down at the last, and that just, for me, questions the form. Majborough, I don't see him as a 2-miler. So yeah, it's all about Sagino at the moment.
2 mile chase division up there for grabs. Ross likes Sagino, Majborough for me. 2 mile novice chase division then, Ross. I feel like this is kind of half your speciality. We know you for handicap successes, but you're very good at pinpointing these horses first time up in novice events. I think this is wide open, but I suppose Lulamba is the one everyone's most looking forward to.
I think he is. I'd slightly disagree. I think people are seeing Nicky Henderson, young French horse, in the Donnelly colours, and they're thinking he's Sagino. He's a Triumph horse. They tend to be a bit more stamina.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be quick enough for 2 miles. If he turns up in the Arcon, no matter what he's done in the lead up to that, I'd find it very hard to think that I'd be with him. I think I'd be against him. Copec de Boards I really like, proven on that track or over hurdles. He looks like a chaser. I'm always a little bit, I don't like this, he's going to be better over fences because he looks like a chaser. For me, jumping is about quick feet, and sometimes big horses don't have quick feet. We've seen that in big bucks who Christian rode,
Yeah.
Didn't translate what should have been a physique for chasing into chasing, was a better hurdler. But all things equal, if Copec de Boards jumps, he's not favourite for the Arkle at the moment. I find that very hard to understand that Lulamba is. Lulamba could be difficult because I'm not sure Nicky's going to want to go 3 miles with him at the festival.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he'll be quick enough for 2, so I think he'll end up in the Arkle. I think I'll oppose him. Brighter Days Ahead would be another one.
Yes.
I think she'll make hay in Ireland. She's really talented. Again, she gets to Cheltenham. I wouldn't mind what she's done in the lead up to that. I'd oppose her all day long in the Arkle. Then I suppose we've got to go into a Rancy, who was, comfortably beaten at Cheltenham, but ran way above that at Punchestown. So he was a horse that was coming to himself. Salvatore Mundi, far too free in the Supreme, looked really good at Aintree under different tactics. They let him get on with it. And a fence for a keen horse like him, if he takes the fence and the fences back him off a little bit, that can make him more efficient. So I think it's a really exciting division. And then I suppose the other one we should throw in, and it's coming down a little bit of faith, of a trainer's reputation, which has taken a dent, is Regent Stroll for Paul Nicholls. He does know how to train good horses, and they have been pretty unstinting in their faith in this horse, despite some pretty big reversals last year, and high profile reversals, because social media sort of likes to pile on, doesn't it, that this expensive horse has got beaten. They seem very confident he's going to be much, much better over fences. If he's quick enough for 2 miles, he could be dangerous. Again, I expect him to win sort of grade 2s and grade 1s in the UK, and then perhaps come the spring he might be found wanting. But it's a really exciting division, and something's bound to pop its head up.
Yeah, very exciting. We've named horses there from Nicky Henderson's yard, Paul Nicholls' yard, Gordon Elliott and Willie Mullins. And talking of Willie Mullins, he's got the horse in the 3 mile novice chasing division in Final Demand that everyone is again looking forward to, and saying this horse could be the real deal and could be a Gold Cup horse in time. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. He's everything, isn't he? Big, strong galloper. And at Punchestown, he put right went wrong at Cheltenham. And I really think that the old course at Cheltenham just didn't suit him. It was all just happening a bit too quick. 3 miles, okay, you're going to be on the old course, but 3 miles they'll go a gear slow over fences. He looks really, really exciting and could be the horse that, in a year's time we're talking about as a Gold Cup horse. I'd also throw in Wendigo. I thought he was really, really good. And another horse that's perhaps from a yard that's really trying to step up, Lucinda Russell and Michael Scudamore, Derry Hassan Paddy.
Dark horse alert here.
Yeah, he won at Windsor on a track that absolutely should not have suited him. Sharp track, he's a big horse. Then finished third at Cheltenham in the Albert Bartlett. Again, maybe the ground was a bit lively, but this is a yard that make no bones about the fact that they're not interested in hurdlers. They're trying to buy chasers, be brought along slowly. He could be a horse that does some nice things this season.
Yeah, the Novice Chasing division looks exciting. Looking forward to it. 3 mile championship division, the Triple Crown. The Corto Stars and the Demons of the world tried this in the past. Have we got a Triple Crown winner this year? I suppose we've got to start with the Betfair Chase. That's the first race in the trio. Grey Dawning, is he going to be the one to win this?
Yeah, I think he probably is. I mean, he left his season behind. There's no doubt about that at Haydock last year, but it was typical attritional Haydock fare, wasn't it? Royal Pagaille just out battling him, but he was never quite the same horse afterwards. I'd be pretty certain that, granted reasonable ground, he's the one you have to beat. I don't think you have to be a top tier horse to win the Betfair. I wonder what Willie Mullins' plan is going to be. He's going to have so many horses in the 3 mile division. Yeah. Could he send the likes of his sort of second and third tier, Champ Kiley, for example? Maybe Nick Rocket, the national winner, has got to start somewhere. Then you look at Lecky Watson, who won the Brown Advisory. I think he might well be plotted as a Grand National horse. I'd expect to see him in Ireland, finishing 50 lengths back in the Savills and the Irish Gold Cup, and being geared towards National. Then I suppose we should mention Caldwell Potter, who was really good in the tail end of the season.
Where do you stand on him this year? I'm quite excited by him, but I feel like you're not in the same boat as me.
I love good jumpers, and he was one of the best jumping performances of the week at Cheltenham. But I'd throw Miretown in with this same thing that people are getting very excited. He won off 146. Now, the race is there to be won. They're competitive Cheltenham Festival handicaps. Miretown won off 127. Yeah. Great performances though they are, weight stops trains. They're going to have to step up. And then, Caldwell Potter's gone on to Aintree and won a Grade 1. But he beat Jordan's. Yeah, Jordan's is 149. Now maybe he ran above himself, but I think it was perhaps a sort of a weak enough Grade 1. So I struggle to see Caldwell Potter stepping up, and I just wonder when it comes down to it whether Paul Nicholls is going to look that he could still go the handicap route with a potentially graded horse in a handicap. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't run in the Betfair and went handicapping first. So yeah, I think it is Grey Dawnings where I'd be looking for the Betfair, certainly. Then you're into the King George.
Yeah. Much better race.
You found the winner last year with Banbridge.
Yes. Well, we love this horse, Banbridge, and it's his time of year, isn't it? Because the ground usually, well, I suppose it doesn't really make sense that the ground comes good for him, but it's usually good to soft there, and Banbridge will relish those conditions. But will there be better horses in there? I mean, even Fat to File, who probably isn't a 3 miler, he's currently listed quite high up in the anti-post market, and Mullins is going to have his fair share.
So Fat to File's not a 3 miler, TC, did you just say? You finally
we'll come back to that.
Coming round to that.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, Banbridge definitely is a player. I don't think, because Ilefrete was so impressive off the front, I don't think Paul Townend got quite the credit for what an incredible ride that was, to judge sitting off enough and going and closing down at the right time. He presumably won't be on him this time. You'd imagine Willie Mullins will have a runner. I suppose you would mention the Ilefrete now with Tom George, with Noel George, so it's still in the same trade.
Do you trust him?
Absolutely not. I think if you were backing him again, you really would need to just check that you're fully with your senses, because he clearly has problems, and he's clearly not his best unless he's able to dominate. And you would like to think now that the jockey's going to be aware of that, and someone's going to go and take him on early enough and get him sort of sulking a little bit, and then he becomes a far lesser horse. King George is an exciting race. I mean, I would be interested if Fat to File came across. I do think, and I really hope they stick to the Ryanair, because I think he's a really exciting horse when you let him go forward and use his jumping. Maybe you could do that round the sharp 3 miles at Kempton. It's not a race I've really gone into yet, and year on year we build the King George up. It's going to be a great race, and it has this habit of still being a good race, but not quite the great race we're all hoping for. I suppose Spillane Tower is the one in the 3 mile division that we shouldn't sleep on. I think they felt he didn't give a fair account himself at Kempton last time, so maybe he might be one that comes over. Yeah,
I wonder where he currently ranks in the JP McManus pecking order, because obviously we have I Know the Way You're Thinking, who won the Gold Cup last year. He'll be going towards the Gold Cup again this year, maybe the Grand National after, we'll see. He's probably number 1, right? Fat to File maybe number 2, albeit he's he's likely to run in the Ryanair, Spillane Tower is a little bit underrated. When it comes to the Gold Cup, I know the way you're thinking, Galopin Des Champs, form reversal or form confirmation at this stage? What do you reckon?
I think form reversal.
Okay.
I was very confident that Galopin Des Champs was just going to win a third Gold Cup, and I was pretty confident the ground was going to be too lively for I know the way you're thinking, because his form in the Kim Muir was on slow ground. The more I look it back, he didn't jump well enough, Galopin Des Champs. Could that be the slightly lively ground that he just wasn't wanting to let himself down on it, or maybe he just didn't, travel over? They has to travel over from Ireland. I still think he can get that third Gold Cup, and I'd really like to see it happen, because I think he's the most exciting 3-mile chaser I've seen since Denman. He's a better horse since Denman. I just love Denman, and big and strong and powerful, but yeah, I'd love to see him get that third Gold Cup.
Yeah, and jumps racing is key when you get these quality horses, not necessarily just ones that are crowd favourites, but horses that can go out there and really prove their worth. And I feel like that's why jumps racing has such a big pull. You get these all-time greats coming back year on year and doing it again and again. And with Galopin Des Champs, we know that he's probably going to take the Irish Gold Cup before the English Gold Cup. He's almost home and hosing that already, right?
Yeah, Mr. Mullins is a creature of habit, isn't he? So it's going to be John Durkin, Savills, Irish Gold Cup, Cheltenham. They just saw something the other day where he said maybe we'd give him one less run. I don't think that's the worst idea in the world if you slightly older horse and get there a little bit of freshness.
Okay.
Particularly now he's a bit old, he was quite a buzzy horse as a novice, wasn't he? But he's learnt to relax and become very efficient. So, I'm not quite the trainer Willie Mullins is, but if he was mine, I would certainly be giving consideration to maybe leaving one of those Irish races out.
If you were to leave one of them, the John Durkin, but then that's the seasonal reappearance, right?
No, I think I'd go straight from Christmas to Cheltenham.
But it is Galopin Des Champs containing them. It's the stuff of legends here at Lowenstown, as Galopin Des Champs completes a hunting of victories in the Irish Gold Cup.
So TC, the one I want to lead into, and I still smile when I think about it, the Stayers Hurdle, your favourite division, because I still think of the absolute meltdown you had 2 years in a row when you were saying, well, they're not going to give Flooring Port an easy lead this time, and they did it again. Is this a division that's maybe getting a bit more competitive, do you think? Because it needs to, because it's been boring fare, I would say, for the last few seasons.
I don't want to talk about this division. It's horrible, and I'm glad you get a smile out of it, because I do not. I have nightmares over those 2 renewals. I was on Classical Dream, and they just seem to walk up front every single time in this race, which just doesn't make sense for a Stayers Hurdle. But we'll move on from that. As you can tell, I have progressed. In regards to quality, last year I liked T Hoopu, but he kind of ran his race, but he wasn't good enough. Bob Ollinger beat him. He is the Cheltenham specialist, but these horses are both getting older, and they need challengers from the younger generation.
Ballyburn is dropping back, I presume, over hurdles because they, I think, have sort of realised that he's not comfortable over fences, but I don't think he stays 3 miles, so
Agreed.
I think that's difficult. The other one that from Mullins that I would just throw in there is Jimmy DeSoy, who won the Coral Cup.
You liked him that day, didn't you?
I did, I backed him and liked him. Lots of talk that he's going to go over fences, but he's clearly quite fragile to train. Mullins mentioned a couple of times that they're easier to keep sound if they stay over hurdles, and he won a Stayers with Penn Hill off a long layoff, seasonal return, won the Stayers. It's not just beyond the realms that if Jimmy DeSoy is difficult to train, that he goes, and the next time we see him is back at the Cheltenham Festival in the Stayers. So I've already had a little bit, and I say a little bit on him at a big price for the Stayers. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's where he ended up next spring.
Ross Handicapped Millar, that's what people call you out there, I'm absolutely certain of that. Big price winners, that's what you're famous for on the SBK Betting podcast. What are the big price winners in the handicaps this year?
Well, there's the kiss of death for this season, isn't it? So I suppose the 2.5 mile handicaps at Cheltenham are the ones I really like to have a good look at. Early stages, I've not had a great look at them, but a horse that I was pretty keen to keep on side from last season is Vincenzo. Finished second to Booster Bob off that ride at Newbury when Sean Bowen just picked him up and carried him home. I think he'll step forward as a young horse for Sam Thomas, so I'd be interested in him in the likes of the Paddy Power, the December Gold Cup, races over those sort of trips. Into the Hennessy, Answer to Cape of Terence O'Brien.
Interesting.
He was a big talking horse for the Jack Richards, the 2 mile 4 handicap at Cheltenham. I was dead against him, I just didn't think it was his trip at all. I was really looking forward to him stepping up in trip, and they stepped him up in trip. They stepped him up to 4 miles at Punchestown. I still got dragged in, travelled really well to about 2 out and didn't look to get home. He stays on the mark, I think it's 141. If he came over for the Hennessy, 3¼ miles, I think could be bang up his street. I think he's a really decent horse off that mark.
Long range handicap fancies, you heard them here first. It's been a fun morning. To wrap it up, as everyone is watching this at home, they'll want a future winner. So one horse from the tracker from each person here. Christian, we'll start with you.
Kepler's Law for me. Big, good model of a horse, good pedigree. Showed good bits of form last season. It's obviously new to our place. But Laura Morgan did a good job with him last year, and he's in our hands now. So hopefully he can be the type of horse that can go through the ranks and be a proper Saturday horse.
Any future targets, or do you know when we'll see him next?
He's ready to start. Just one safe ground. I see yesterday we declared it extra on firm ground. Yesterday in declarations, that's going to be on. So when the rain comes, he'll be ready to start off, and wherever that is.
Exciting. Ross?
I've got one, and I think I've got an inkling which race you'll go for. Now is the hour for Gavin Cromwell. Came down 2 out in the National Hunt Chase, won by Haiti Couleurs, who Christian's already mentioned. Could be a dark horse for the Gold Cup. Won the National Hunt Chase, then won the Irish National off an elevated mark. I don't think Now in the Hour was going to beat Haiti Couleurs, but I think he was going to make him go to the line. Then ran in the Irish National, was towards the rear, didn't get into a jumping rhythm, got pulled up. I think you could put a line through that and go back a couple of seasons. He had some really good hurdle form at Haydock on desperate ground, so he should like soft ground. Still got a mark of 141. I think he's better than that, and I thought the Welsh National might be a nice target for him.
Interesting. Yeah, Now is the hour. I'm going to go with a very, very left field horse, which is called Cadastrel, who won the Goffs Bumper for Dan Skelton. Big, scopy type. Probably not one for this year. A longer term prospect, but I'm interested to see how he progresses, and especially when he goes over fences, I think he could be pretty useful.
He's got some nice bumper horses, Dan Skelton, hasn't he? A horse at Huntingdon last year, My Daddy Paddy.
Yeah.
Don't know what the performance were for Huntingdon bumper, but he just scooted around there and just cleared away. I think they've got some nice horses coming through.
We hope you guys enjoyed that today here at Christian Williams' stable in Ogmore by Sea in West Wales. If you did enjoy it, please follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube page, that's SBK, like the video and comment as well with any horses you're looking forward to watching from Christian's Yard this season. Also, tell us about the 3-mile staying division. Who's going to win that? Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. We'll see you on the SBK Betting Podcast every Thursday.